This is the secret podcast, the secret live. Oh, in the old days, this would be called a talk radio show, except you don't have to call in. I just talk. It's like you pull the string and I just talk. No, you don't pull any string. You just sit there and listen. It's Emil. It's Emil Guillermo. Emil, Amok to you. We are live from my gong closet. COVID never left. Actually, let's not say COVID. Let's just say the pandemic mentality never left. I mean, I kind of like it. I stay in, I observe what's happening in life. I say, do I want to dip my foot out there? And I say, I don't think so. Oh, lots of news today. I am the aforementioned Emil Guillermo here. Emil Muck's Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. We talk about the stuff that's happening in the world. Uh, I write about some of these things in my columns on the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund, ALDEF, the ALDEF blog, aaldef.org/blog. Sometimes in Inquirer.net. Inquirer.net, the website, the global website of the Philippine Inquirer based in Manila. I'm Filipino American. Although I talk about North American things, global things, because that is what I do for them, Inquirer.net. I also write for the Oakland Post, the great Post newspaper group, because I like writing for a newspaper. And the other day, a woman came up to me. I was at the Rockridge Library in Oakland. She said, "Oh, I see your articles in the Oakland Post." I said, "The Oakland Post? The Post? Not the Washington Post, the Oakland Post." So the Oakland Post, she said, "Yes, because you write about the experiences of people of color." And even though the Oakland Post is primarily an African American newspaper, it has a perspective of people of color, and she appreciated that. And I told her, tell the editors that a Filipino voice, a Filipino American voice in ostensibly a African American newspaper, the Oakland Post, makes a difference. Anyway, here I am, and I come on here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Live, to talk to you. I'm also a storyteller, sometimes a humorist. If you laugh, I'm a humorist. Sometimes I'm an investigative humorist because I've got to look for the laughs sometimes. Boy, I heard a great quote by the late, great Norman Lear, who died at 101 today. The quote I heard, he was in an interview saying how he spent a lot of time in a room with 300 people, 6 cameras, actors, trying to find the guffaws, trying to find the laughs, and and I it was somewhat of a truncated answer because he said that every time he got a laugh, whether it was a belly laugh or 3 seconds or 2 seconds or however much it was, strung together, they elongated his life. I think the soundbite was maybe to the question, "How have you lived your life?" And or what can you say about living to I think the interview was done when he was in his 90s, but the implication was he elongated his life by getting the laughs, and it just that was like the one thing that stopped me cold today. I said, "Oh yeah, Norman Lear." You've been wondering about where has he been uh, during the last year when we've had all these troubles. We need a guy like Norman Lear. Wouldn't you know, he invented Donald Trump, really. I mean, if you think about it, if you've seen All in the Family, if you know Archie Bunker, and you know Queens, well, Donald Trump's from Queens. Donald Trump is just a little slightly higher class than Archie Bunker, but it's Queens. And Norman Lear tapped into that for laughs, and America laughed, and America reacted in the way that it should have. It said, "Oh my God, we got to do better." Meaning they saw themselves and said, "Yeah, we have to do better." It was satire of the highest order. And I think that was the first thing I woke up to today, that, Norman Lear died. Of course, you won't see that talked about much in the news, the cable news things, because they're covering everything else, Trump related and whatnot, war related. It barely got into the crawl. They got together a piece on one of the news channels that I was watching on Norman Lear. It wasn't particularly good. Okay, all right. All right. It was better than I thought. Yeah, I got to tell the censor there that okay, it was better. It wasn't that bad. But really, that was the first thing I woke up to, and I said, "Oh God, we're gonna miss Norman Lear." But Norman Lear was. You got to say this: Norman Lear. That Archie Bunker is Donald Trump. Donald Trump with yeah, with a more working class. I mean, Donald Trump is kind of your working class multimillionaire. I mean, he thinks he has class, but if he had class, it'd be a lot better than he actually is. But he's what he is. He's a Queens guy, and Donald Trump has the Queens mentality of Archie Bunker, the original MAGA man. And Norman Lear played it up for laughs. It must have hurt him to think that, oh my God, here's Archie in the presidency. That's what I was thinking today. Archie in the presidency. And then, of course, Donald Trump had his moment from last night. I didn't catch the Hannity show. I forgot that he was doing his town hall. But of course, you do the town hall to circumvent the debate that you don't go to tonight. Not that anyone's going to watch the debate. There's down to four people who really don't have a shot to beat Donald Trump in Iowa, but maybe later. I'm talking about Chris Christie and Governor Haley and Vivek uh, Ramaswamy and that other guy, DeSantis. All I all I can say is that he could not beat Gavin Newsom. And if you saw that debate, the DeSantis Newsom debate, then DeSantis is out of it. He's not he's not going to be the guy. So either you buck up and say, I like Chris Christie. He would tackle Donald Trump, and he knows from the inside what that's about. Well, so does Haley. And you say, he's been a governor of New Jersey. You go with him, but I don't know if he has the if he's as attractive to the rest of the country. Maybe to East Coasters, people to know I like Chris Christie a lot. Although he could be look, he's a venal and standard politician as well. So it's not a great choice, but he's better than Donald Trump. Nikki Haley was an enabler. She's Asian American. I kind of like her a bit, but not that much either. So it's tough. I'm not Republican, so I'm not going to fall in love with any of them. But they have the work cut out for them tonight in this debate. And then Trump, like I said, has overshadowed the debate by going on Hannity last night. And the big question that Hannity asked Trump was, "Are you going to be a dictator?" And Donald Trump couldn't answer. I mean, it was like, please, Donald, because Hannity's a buddy. Hannity's a friend. He's not a journalist. He's a Fox enabler. He's a little better than a PR guy. And he asked Trump the question, are you going to, do you really want to be a dictator? And Trump, wanting to show he was his own guy, didn't want to let in that, oh, Yeah, I don't want to acknowledge Liz Cheney and her tour about being, you know, she's the five alarm, she's the fifth alarm about the impending doom of our democracy. He didn't want to do that, so Trump jokes about it. He says, "Oh no, I'm not addicted. On day one, I will be right on day one, and because I'm going to close up the border, and then I'm going to drill because he's all about energy, which is really this is a man who's looking backwards. If you want to go backwards, Donald Trump's your guy. He wants to drill, natural resources, oil. There goes the climate. Okay, that's your guy. He's not looking forward, but that's what he said. I mean, it's not a real answer. But are you going to be a dictator? All this stuff that Liz Cheney's saying that you're a doomsday guy, that our democracy is doomed. Did he have a serious answer? No, because let's face it, Donald Trump has already achieved what he wants, which is ultimate fame, uh, leader of the free world. Hey, pad the resume. He was an apprentice, right? The host of The Apprentice, and not really the manager or the head of any really big businesses. He was the host of The Apprentice. He was a talk show guy. He's already achieved everything he wanted out of the presidency. He's the talk host, and like I know this, having been a talk host myself. He's polarized. That's what you do as a talk host. You polarize the hell out of the world so people can call, and you get them all riled up, and then people are all attracted to you, right? That's the talk show game. I know this. So I see it. I see Donald Trump, and I say, I know what he's doing. And he has no answer. All he has is a talk show answer. Oh yeah, I'm not. I'm going to be a dictator on day one. I'm going to close the border because that's what people want to hear. Build a wall, close the border, and I'm going to drill because people want to hear. Oh yeah, I'm going to energy guy. You know, uh, it would have been better. I mean, and his friends like Hannity are trying to set him up to say, yeah, oh, Liz Cheney, she's full of it. What does she know? But he couldn't do that. So that's what we got. We got Donald Trump, who's like 40 points ahead, Republican Party. He's still the guy, no matter how many books Liz Cheney sells, warning Americans. Americans may be too. Are we too dumb? Are we too dumb to realize how much trouble we're in? Because everyone is feeling it. We are. Liz Cheney's phrase was, "We are sleepwalking into dictatorship." Donald Trump had a chance to deny, oh no, I'm not going to be a dictator. And he leaves the door open. Oh, on day one, I'm going to do what I can. Oh, he does. He can do a lot in day one. He can invoke the Insurrection Act. He could set it up and create the third world country that he wants, so that he's in charge and does everything. And then you got Kash Patel, one of his Asian enablers, big on the Asian enablers. The best of them have left, like Nikki Haley, to run against him, but who knows where she'll be in the end if he wins, his vice president. But you have all these Asian enablers like Kash Patel, the attorney, saying, hey, Trump is going to go after his enemies. Trump is going to go after people who disagree with him. He's going to go after the media. He could do that in one day, right? He could put the DOJ, Justice Department, under him, and he's in control. He can silence people. First Amendment be damned. He's already threatened and said it himself on his Truth Social. He's already talked about getting people said he's lining up his ducks. His he's lining them up so that he'll know what to do. It's gonna if he wins, it is going to be a bumpy ride. chaos like you've never, because I believe Liz Cheney, who says, she was having dinner with her kids, she was looking at her two sons and says, I wonder if we're going to have the last peaceful transitional power. If they see the last. I wonder if the vote that you make next November is the last vote that matters, because of the changes that will be invoked by a man who now knows exactly how he wants to do it, how he wants to do America. And that's the sad thing. I mean, it's coming out loud and clear. And it's coming out loud and clear. What can I say? Speaking of which, I guess I have to fix my
audio. Now my audio is better, right? I'm fooled sometimes by the system I have here. Let's see. Just prepare Phil Am to a spiritual self-defense. It's almost like that may be the answer. Someone says a spiritual self-defense. I don't know. Look, in America, we believe in, separation of church and state, but the spiritual, we're going to have to go through a lot to endure a second Trump term. So I'm starting to get a little scared about the future. I mean, I think Liz Cheney, when she was on with Rachel Maddow the other night, that showed me what we have to do. We have to reach out across the aisle, and we have to come join hands with people from different views. We can disagree on 99 things, but the one thing we agree on is Trump is bad for democracy. And he cannot be in a position to win. And so far he is. Before I got on here today, there's this big shooting at UNLV. The report from AP, suspect dead amid reports of multiple victims in shooting at University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. The police found a suspect, or they said a suspect was found dead. Found dead. Didn't say that who killed whom. Reports of multiple victims. They're having a press conference impending, but it was at Beam Hall, Frank and the Stella building, home of UNLV's Lee Business Center. And the police were responding to additional reports of shots fired at a nearby student union. So don't know what's going on. I hope people thought that I heard earlier that things were under control, but apparently not. Someone in the university posted on a tweet, "This is not a test. Run, hide, fight," was the tweet. So I don't know if it meant that there was multiple people involved. The AP report only says that they found one person dead. So university officials urged people to remain sheltering in place. An active investigation. They also alerted, the FAA has alerted the airports, and they've canceled some flights from going in. And then this is what got me. I was reading the AP report. Matthew Felsenfeld said he and about 12 classmates barricaded their door in a building near the student union. And he said, it's the moment you call your parents and tell them you love them. And that's got to be a heart-sinking moment. He didn't hear any gunfire. He didn't see any injured, but he just said he felt super sad by the situation. Quote, this is Felsenfeld, 21-year-old journalism student. Every single year we're seeing more and more shootings. What are we going to do about them? There's legislation, but it's going to pass. But is it going to pass? You just never know. But that quote, it's the moment you call your parents and tell them you love them. I know what this is like. You're far away from people you love, and you're in a situation, and oh my God, that's the moment. We pray. I mean, what do we do? Thoughts and prayers. You relay this. I know that I heard of another situation in Texas, Austin, Texas, where they have open carry laws. People running around with guns, open carry. And a man in Austin and several cities in that central Texas area. I have family in that area. I was concerned. Did you hear? Are you all right? Yeah, I'm okay. Okay. It's just, this is the country. Something is up in this country. And this is the bad thing about where we're at right now. Because it's consequential, because we're having a big general election in a year. And how do you appeal to people living in a situation like this? I mean, it's not like you can be, you can't appeal with logic, because they see the logic that they see. And if you do not connect to the feelings at hand, you've lost them. They're not with you. And no matter how good a candidate is, no matter how, and I'm talking about the incumbent, you got to connect. But if you don't connect to where the people are, I know it's looking bad for Joe Biden, I'm thinking right now. And Joe Biden was out there today giving a little talk in advance of the Ukrainian aid vote, the supplemental bill, which has to pass. And Joe Biden was forceful in saying why. If we don't get this money, that most of which will go to Ukraine, there goes our responsibility to our allies, our responsibility to the free world, our responsibility to Ukraine, and we'll let Putin just sort of walk all over Ukraine. He said, we'll let Putin kneecap Ukraine if we don't pass this. And of course, the Republicans are holding it up, because the Republicans want to govern by making unreasonably illogical demands that really are irrelevant. It's irresponsible to say, all right, I'll give you this if you'll give me that. That's horse trading, which is good for horses if you're dealing in the same kind of thing, but it's bad when it comes to policies that are totally different. So what the Republicans are doing is, you do something on the border, Joe Biden and Democrats, and we'll let you have this funding on Ukraine. Which, what does the border and Ukraine have to do with each other? Nothing. They're irrelevant to each other. We got two problems. We can solve both problems together. But to hold up the issue of Ukraine by saying, all right, you do the thing on the border issue, totally irresponsible. It's dirty politics. Because how about this? All right, let's deal with comprehensive immigration reform. Let's deal with the problem. Do the Republicans want to budge? No. We haven't had comprehensive immigration reform in something like almost 40 years. I mean, comprehensive. Fix everything, not just the border. Let's figure out what's going on. Ooh, I mean, it's to say, all right, we'll give you Ukraine funding, which also includes Israel funding. We'll pass this supplemental hundreds of billions of dollars. But you got to do something about the southern border. Two irrelevant things. And that's how you lead in America. How about this? All right, let's talk about dealing with the border crisis separately, and let's go at it and fix it. And let's get this money to Ukraine because they need it. Because we are responsible to our allies, and if Ukraine is attacked and Putin goes in and attacks another NATO country, although he probably wouldn't, because he knows that the consequences are America would go in. But we have just pretty much said to the world, America's not involved. America isn't going to get involved. And we do that to our detriment. And you know Donald Trump, what he's going to do if he gets in the second term. You know what he's going to do to the UN and NATO. He's going to get rid of them all. And I guess he's not going to put the homeless in Trump Tower because a lot of middle-class people will be looking for refuge. He's just going to say, we're isolated. We're Americans, everyone for himself here domestically. We don't play in the international world. Another reason why we need to really we need to think about a second term for Donald Trump. No way. I'm reminded a lot of Filipinos in the Las Vegas area at UNLV. I don't know what the situation is there yet. I'm praying. I've got relatives in that area. I got relatives all over. I thought about moving to Las Vegas. But there's something about Vegas that first of all, natural resources, where are they? How hot it's going to be? There was something in the paper today that I saw, because they're having this big UN conference. The climate summit is going on, and we're not seeing much reporting about the climate summit. But this is the big news out of the climate summit that I saw reported. Headline, New York Times, air conditioners to be improved. 60 nations vow at conference. Of course, it's going to be so hot. We're going to need good air conditioning. 60 countries committed on Tuesday to improve the efficiency of new air conditioners by 50% and reduce greenhouse gas emissions related to those cooling machines by almost 70%. The latest in a flurry of global promises that aim to tackle climate change. Of course, if we do nothing about climate change, hell with the world, hell with global warming, on an atmospheric level, globally, we'll just give everyone better air conditioning. That's what we want. Because if we have better air conditioning, we just lock ourselves up in the room and we can listen to Emil and Amok's Takeout online. Oh my God. I'm telling you. All right. I was talking about how Joe Biden was going in front of the camera saying we need this Ukraine aid. That's what a responsible nation does. And we're losing our grips about what a responsible nation does. Because I think the Republicans are just going to hang in there. And I think the American people aren't going to say, yeah, come on, let's do what Joe wants. No, Joe Biden is losing the American people. Joe Biden isn't connecting with the American people. Now, why isn't Joe Biden connecting with the American people? Joe Biden isn't connecting with the American people. And I was saying this yesterday. Check out show 618. I talked about inflation. Everyone wants to talk about inflation in the economy. The real facts about inflation is down from like near 6% to about 2.5% from March of 2022 to today. The actual numbers. And you look at the core inflation, you separate food and gas, we're at a good pace to get down to where we want to be at 2%. We should be saying, hey, thank goodness we have done this without all the things that happen when you try to make that kind of move. Disinflation, unemployment, a stagnant economy. We have avoided that. And you can see it when people are spending billions of dollars, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Americans feel good about the money they have, and yet they don't feel good. They don't know why. They can feel good on the one hand. They can buy everything they want to buy, on Cyber Monday. But they don't feel good when it comes down to like, what's really going on? We don't feel good here. The economy's bad. We need a better president. And Joe Biden can't connect with these people and say, look, I've done this. Bidenomics has done this. No matter what he says, he does not connect. That's a bad sign. People aren't getting the feels from Joe Biden. People, despite the economy doing well, despite their being able to spend, they feel bad. They feel scared. They're worried about crime. They're worried about wars. They're worried about things that Joe Biden isn't connecting to them on. And Joe Biden is losing them. He's losing blacks, Latinos. He's losing whites. He's losing young people. His approval rating is down low as it's been in the 30s. And yet, Joe Biden has done some incredible things worthy of a second term. And I was reading around, William Galson in the Wall Street Journal says, the problem is there are all these things happening and voters think that things are out of control. I mean, Galson cites an Economist YouGov survey where 20% of registered voters feel that things in the country these days are under control. Just 20%. But 66% feel that things are out of control. So anything good that happens under Biden, people seem to think, oh, it's not Biden's. No, he didn't do anything. Things are out of control. And they want control. And this is the bad sign because it means they will embrace Trump. Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's kind of the rationale. Oh, I politicians all lie, but he's my liar. If you're in a lying contest between two lying politicians, but you've got the better lying politician, oh, you've got George Santos. Yeah, he's out. We got a better liar. I mean, that's the problem. Oh, yeah, they're all liars. I got the better liar. Oh, they're all bullies. We've got the better bully. It's a function of, remember they used to say, oh, I hate Congress. I love my congressman. I hate your congressman. I love mine. And it's in general. I hate politicians, but I love mine. And people are saying, who's going to make us feel like things are under control? Because I don't want to think about politics. I don't want to think about, world stuff. I just care that I go to work, I come home, no accidents, I get food, no price jumps, I pay my mortgage, my rent, I have sex with my partner, my kids are all smart, I go to their games, that's all people want. They don't want to be bothered with any of this real world stuff. Global warming, no. Give us better air conditioners. And, we voted you in so you can control things. Yeah, but if you vote Trump in, he's also going to control you. He's going to put a muzzle on the American public. Any criticism, out. He's going to go after people who aren't loyal to him, out. That's where Donald Trump represents a danger to democracy. So, man, so many things going on today. Kevin McCarthy, he's leaving. He's going to leave in December. Kevin McCarthy, he should have left when he got voted out as speaker first time. Or when he was battling. It was like he groveled so badly. And then he gave away the store so that if there was ever a disagreement, he'd be out. Now he's got no face. He can't go back as a junior. Well, he won't be a junior. He'd be just a deposed leader. But this is the thing about Kevin McCarthy and other small government conservatives. They really have no business in government. They should get out. They should get a role on Fox News, be in that kind of politics. Don't be in a place where you're hamstrung by ethics, where people will see if you lie or not, and they'll care. So Kevin McCarthy wrote something in the Wall Street Journal. He says, "I'm leaving the House, but not the fight. My work is only getting started in my next chapter." This is said like a guy who got his butt kicked by MAGA Republicans. He writes, "I'm an optimist. How could I not be? I'm the son of a firefighter." Well, okay. For 17 years, I've served in the same congressional seat. Okay, that's too long. The same office in which I was once denied an internship. Well, maybe there were a lot more smarter people ahead of you. Only in America. I helped lead Republicans to a House majority twice. Well, that's nothing to brag about, really. We got more Republican women, veterans, and minorities elected to Congress at one time than ever before. Okay. I remained cheerfully persistent when elected Speaker because I knew what we could accomplish. Yeah, not much, huh? Even with slim margins in the House, we passed legislation to secure the border, achieve energy independence, reduce crime, hold government accountable, and establish a parent's Bill of Rights. You did, really? You did all that, Kevin? And this is why Americans don't feel very good. They feel things are out of control. We did exactly what we said we would do, and that's the problem. You should have listened to the Democrats. We kept our eyes on America's long-term global challenges by restoring the Intelligence Committee to its original charter and establishing a bipartisan select committee on the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, yeah. That's the party that all the Republican capitalists want to do business with. We reduced the deficit by more than $2 trillion. Oh, yeah. Did you ask Donald Trump about that? About how his costs or his tax cutting, ballooned the deficit? So while you may have reduced it by more than $2 trillion, check the paperwork because it wasn't that effective. Revamped work requirements for adults on the sidelines. Oh, yeah. Cut red tape for critical domestic energy projects and protected the full faith and credit of the U.S. Can he explain any of what that means? We kept our government operating and our troops paid while wars broke out around the world. Oh, yeah, sure. Government shutdowns, there were a few under your watch. No matter the odds or personal costs, we did the right thing. Oh, yeah. No matter the odds or personal costs, we did the right thing. Kevin McCarthy, who after January 6th was, this is terrible. And then the next day you're down at Mar-a-Lago kissing Donald Trump's butt. No matter the odds or personal costs, we did the right thing. No, you didn't, Kevin McCarthy. That's why you're out. That may seem out of fashion in Washington these days, but delivering results for the American people is still celebrated across the country. The results, there are no results that the Republican Party has delivered because you divided the country, you divided the Congress. Results, mixed at best, you did not deliver. It is in this spirit that I have decided to depart the House at the end of this year to serve America in new ways. Oh, I hope it's by leaving the country. One-way ticket, please. I know my work is only getting started. I will continue to recruit our country's best and brightest to run for elected office. Oh no, he's going to work for the Republican Party? The Republican Party is expanding every day, and I'm committed to lending my experience to support the next generation of leaders. Listen, if you're a Republican, do not listen to Kevin McCarthy. He is a succubus to the nth degree. Do not listen to Kevin McCarthy. It often seems that the more Washington does, the worse America gets. I started my career as a small business owner, and I look forward to helping entrepreneurs and risk takers reach their full potential. The challenges we face are more likely to be solved by innovation than legislation. Listen, here's the thing for Kevin McCarthy. He's a small government guy, and all the small government guys ought to get out of government. They don't belong there. He belongs in small business. Yes, emphasis on small. That's where Kevin McCarthy belongs. But this Wall Street Journal op-ed that he had published there, you know, he knew. I mean, before they put out the release that he's going, they had it all set up to go. And then the Wall Street Journal had the exclusive because he's dealing with his capitalists, his, Republicans. But Kevin McCarthy and all those small government folks ought to just leave government. They don't belong in office. They don't. Good riddance, Kevin McCarthy. Bakersfield. Go back to Bakersfield. And yeah, that's where he's from, Bakersfield. Clean up the air there. Do something for the people in Bakersfield. Follow, your other guy. Who's that other guy? The Hispanic guy, the Portuguese guy, who got into a love affair with Trump, and he's out of Congress. They're all out of Congress because they realize they don't like government. They don't have a function in a real democracy. Get Kevin McCarthy out. Good riddance. Oh my goodness, Kevin McCarthy gone. We talked about Ukraine. We talked about Las Vegas, the Trump dictatorship. I think we covered the bases. So all I can say is, you pray for America. I mean, you could do that. Here's one good thing I saw. Let me just check. Time Person of the Year. Taylor Swift. Time Magazine is trying to get back as a player. I mean, it's not really a player. No one reads Time. It exists as a kind of model of what was. I mean, Time Life in its heyday in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. I mean, yeah, that Time, it meant something. Now Time has essentially sold off all its assets, including the Man of the Year, Person of the Year. And it doesn't mean what it used to, but in lieu of anyone else doing it, I mean, I could name my Person of the Year, my Man of the Year, and you'd say, oh, yeah, thanks, Emil, thanks. But Time does, and you say, oh, like all the other Time Persons of the Year? Kinda. But, they had all these choices. They had King Charles, they had Putin, they had China's President Xi, they had Fani Willis and the Trump prosecutors. I would have gone there, but all political. and all divisive. They had Barbie. That would have been a spirited Time Person of the Year. Instead, they went with Taylor Swift. It's hard to knock Taylor Swift. Well, I don't know how hard it is. Ask Travis Kelce. No, I mean, the thing about her is that she's fun. And you get young people, that's who you want. So I'm happy for Time. Taylor Swift doesn't need it, but it's a nice accolade. And I think, it gives us something to talk about, because amid all this, disgruntlement that's happening in the world that, manifests itself in wars and argument and disagreement, we have Taylor Swift serenading us. That's a positive, I guess. I don't listen to her songs. I don't know them. I mean, if they come up on the air and I listen and say, oh, that's a Taylor Swift song. Okay, I get it. I don't go seeking her out. Not like Olivia Rodrigo. I go seeking out Olivia Rodrigo. I mean, yeah, Filipina. So maybe if Taylor Swift was going out with a Filipino guy, but she likes those big, hunky Travis Kelce types. Here's an item. The College Board updated its AP African American Studies curriculum after parts of it were criticized by Florida's Department of Education. Apparently, they've included a part about Colin Kaepernick, which is important. But, that whole thing, that was a DeSantis created problem. There was nothing wrong with the AP African American Studies curriculum. And look, I'm a fan of AP. In high school, I took 3 AP courses. I took the courses that I could do well in, the histories and the English, and got 5s in all of them. It's like they score them 1 to 5. And then you get 3 and you get to skip a year. That's the function of AP. But, it's unfortunate because it means that an important part of your education is really in high school. And I don't think we realize that. You can go to college and you can miss a lot of interesting things that, you're supposed to go on and do advanced stuff in college. You should have had the Civil War in high school. I mean, it is possible. You can go through college without reading a page of Shakespeare, without reading about World War II, without getting any American history. That's the shame. And let's see, anything else? Here's the thing about Norman Lear. Like I'm just reading one thing about him. He did Sanford and Son, that put the older Red Fox on the map again. The Jeffersons, Maude. So he did all these things, all these shows that touch nerves in our society and had lasting impact. The biggest one, of course, All in the Family. He said, people always say, did it change anything? Did the shows change anything? And he said, I can't say, but when people turned the shows off, conversation ensued. And that is the best you can do. You hope that you change something so people address things differently, or you put information in their head. But if you touched a nerve and you created conversation in a First Amendment-led democracy, What could be better than that? Which is why expression is ultimately very important. And because if at least, I mean, the question is, can you change or can you persuade people? And where we're left with is, if you get people at least talking, that's the good thing. That's the plus. So let's hope that we keep people talking. All right. Hey, we're here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Live. Tomorrow, another great show. I usually try to go for just like 10 minutes, and you can see I tend to go on. Because there's things to talk about. My God. I didn't even talk about grade inflation. Oh, I wanted to talk about, I'll talk about that tomorrow. Kamala Harris, the tiebreaker. She's broken more ties. I mean, that's what a vice president does. A vice president just sits around and goes to funerals, does inconsequential stuff. No. Kamala Harris breaks ties. And in a divided government, and she's broken more ties than anyone in history. Thank goodness for Kamala Harris. And yet, is anyone saying, yeah, we want Kamala Harris to be our president? They should. I mean, really, they should. Look at Mike Pence. I mean, this is the thing about being vice president. Vice president isn't exactly the catapulting thing. Mike Pence saved our democracy by saying no to Donald Trump in terms of the electors and the fake electors, and by just counting the votes. He didn't stop it. He allowed the votes to be counted. And is he seen as a hero? No, he's not. So, charisma and connection counts for something. No one connects with Mike Pence. No one connects with Kamala Harris. I don't know. We're just keeping the conversation going. We're not looking for converts. We're not looking to proselytize you. We're just looking to open up the conversation. Keep talking. Hey, thank you for listening. If you found us either recorded, pass on links to your friends, tell them we're here live, 2 p.m. Pacific. The ideal way to listen to this is just to, pop it open on your phone, YouTube, at Emil Amok 1, Facebook, fb.com/Emil, Guillermo.media, on X at Emil Amok, EMIL, AMOK. Open it up, just play it on your phone. Listen. See if it engages conversation with your friends. Hey, this guy Emil was talking about this. But listen. So Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m.-ish, live. We're here. And we always close with a little meditation. Oh, I need to say this. I'm a big Marianne Williamson fan. I just like Marianne Williamson. I like her because she's a thinker. She's a spiritual person. But she also gets dissed a lot by people. There's a kind of a media blackout. And I don't want to contribute to that blackout because she's running for president. And she puts out these dispatches. No one sees her releases. No one talks about them. So I like to talk about them. She sent something. Marianne Williamson for president. She says, our team has big and exciting news to report in yesterday's Big Village poll. Never heard of this, but there's polls all over the place. We came in at 14.5% among Democratic voters, which is a lot. I mean, it doesn't overtake Joe Biden, but 14.5% means she shows up. And if you hear Dean Phillips' name, she's got like 3 times what Dean Phillips has. Dean Phillips is in Congress. He's a good guy, but they talk about him. You'll hear him mentioned, but you won't hear Marianne's name. So 14.5% among Democratic voters and 32.5% among Gen Z, which means she's connecting with younger people. And that means they doubled in this poll from 7.2 to 14.5%. And polling higher than DeSantis, Haley, and Vivek, and over 6 times higher than Christie. This is good news for Marianne Williamson. This is a big poll. Registered voters. Biden gets 68.5% among Democrats, and Williamson gets 13.6% among registered voters. Among all adults, Biden gets 67.2% and Marianne Williamson 14.5%. Dean Phillips gets 8.9% in this. Someone else gets 9.4%. So, but it's a good showing for Marianne. Among female voters, she's at 17.9%, topping Dean Phillips and someone else, but still not as high as Joe Biden, who's up there, 63.9%. So the question was, who do you prefer to see as the Democratic nominee? She still loses to Joe Biden, but she's making a difference. She's having an impact. She's a spiritual person, but not one of those religious right. She's not even religious left, but she knows how to care for people. And she knows that people are hurting. And she knows that people want to hear that message. So she is a politician unlike others. And for that reason, I'm just glad she's out there. Marianne Williamson. All right, here Monday through Friday, back again tomorrow, around 2 p.m.-ish. We'll talk more about what we talk about. Big day tomorrow. I like to close with a little meditation, a little loving kindness, a little metta, M-E-T-T-A. Because, as you're kind to yourself, forgive yourself, and then you can put out that kind of good love to others, and then it comes back to you. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be kind. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Guillermo here. Till next time. Mahal.